I've had quite a lot of messages asking me, what is the update on your pain, on your management of pain? I've had comments like, you look much better from the earlier vlog where I was explaining the place I was at last summer. And I've had quite a few people saying they want to know more about this, that they themselves have, various different things that they are struggling with pain-wise, chronic issues, and they would love just to hear more on that. Over 8 million people in this country suffer with chronic, long-term pain. That's an extraordinary number. I found last summer that I had been ignoring my body's cries for help, and my body's pain levels were increasing and increasing, and it got to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. I literally just couldn't ignore it. It was screaming at me. So I had probably had high level of long-term pain for several years, but I had managed to bury and ignore and carry on. And last summer, boom, it stopped. I just couldn't carry on. I went on a journey, as you know, on really saying, stop ignoring this and start giving it some focus. I was immediately referred when I went to the GP to talk about this. I went to the GP, went to the spine clinic, had the MRI, confirmed that I've got, a very, very weak spine at the bottom, lots of muscle and tissue issues, and these 2 prolapse discs. Went to the spine clinic every week for a while. They decided no surgery, and I needed to accept my position as a chronic pain sufferer, and I needed to go on a course and learn what that meant. And I got this book given to me. It's called The Pain Management Plan: How People Living with Pain Found a Better Life. And it's written for everybody, so it's quite, for me personally, obvious, a little patronising, but you kind of ignore that and it's fine. It's very straightforward. But what's interesting for me is when I went to the pain clinic, they struggled with me because I would not accept the label of chronic pain sufferer. I found that personally quite a negative label to give someone. I did not want to become one of those people that starts their identity, starts the conversation, starts their thinking in, well, I'm a chronic pain sufferer, so I surely can't do that. Or, well, you need to understand, I suffer with, or someone that falls into the category that I call the third category. So I have this image of our culture that our society falls into 3 bands. 1, 2, 3. You are either in the high achieving, successful, independent and free band. Boom, that's you. Or you're in the middle band. You're working very hard. You are striving to survive. You are just about making that happen. You can't necessarily complain about your life. You see there's a lot worse, but you see there's a lot better. You're working hard because you live with hope that you can reach the better, or you don't have that much hope to reach the better, but you are hopeful for survival and you are dedicated to making that happen. Or you're in the third band, which is you don't have that much choice. Life is what it is. You're either unemployed, you are chronically ill, you are needing care, you are homeless, or you are an addict, or you are in a position where you don't have the independence, you are dependent in some way, shape or form. I felt that the pain clinic was so used to dealing with people who are seeing themselves and who are in the third band that they couldn't handle me, who sees myself in the middle band striving for the top band. At times I've been in the top band, fallen down to the middle band. Not a problem, it's just the way the way life has been. I was never and will never accept the third band. And I found that they found that very difficult. Doctors, specialists, professionals don't know what causes pain in most instances. It is not the answer to say that my pain is caused from my back problems. Yes, my pain comes from there, but actually what's going on in my body is not clear. It's not the right answer to say I've got a prolapsed disc or two and my body is worn out from years of back problems and my pain is caused from that. That is not the answer, because no one knows what causes pain. No one knows definitively why people suffer with chronic pain. What I have learnt is that pain starts as a state of mind, and that it is a genuine experience that, for example, this morning I get out of bed and I find it very difficult to touch my toes, to wash my hair for long, to do my shoelaces up, because I have a lot of pain. But I have learnt that if I focus on that pain, if I indulge in it, if I come from a place of starting with that, in that, then that is going to be 10 times worse than if it's just part and parcel. It's just a thing that's happening amidst a whole host of other things, and I don't give it the focus, I don't give it the energy, I don't give it the attention. I am soon dressed and ready and getting on with my day, and I'm not feeling the trap of that pain. So it starts in the mind. If I was to do what the pain clinic said of me, I should say to you that I discharged myself from the pain clinic, and as I discharged myself, the woman who had been dealing with me every week said, I need to tell you that I will be recommending to your GP that you have some psychological help to accept that you are a chronic pain sufferer. Because when you accept that, you will be able to start managing it a whole lot better. And I said to her, you are very welcome to write whatever you wish, because I will not be going back to my GP. I will be dealing with this my way, and I will never accept that I'm a chronic pain sufferer. I will just identify in who I am and what I am about, and that will just be a small aspect of the bigger picture. So if I was going to identify as a chronic pain sufferer, as they felt was the important first step, I would have no hope at all in coming out of the focus of that and into the bigger picture. 8 million people are hearing the message of chronic pain sufferer. That scares me, that concerns me. It makes me feel that third band is very heavy. It's burdensome on the individual, on society, and on our image of that third band. I would like to be able to free that third band to a more compassionate response to that band. That number one and number two bands look upon that band and say, how can we help you? How can our independence and our freedom support your dependence so you feel and can live more independently within your situation and within the bigger picture of your life? But actually, I think what's happening culturally is that we look upon the third band as dependent, depressing, difficult, self-indulgent, inward-looking. And actually, sometimes that's actually true. We know that to be true. We know that there are those people who have given up, who love to live in their issue, who start from that place with everything they do. Don't get me wrong. I know how difficult it is when you feel pain all day and all night. I know how impossible that can feel at times to step away from it. I personally don't want to experience that. So personally, I have been outwardly questioning all the things that I think are making that sick, making that concrete in my life, or those things that I can recognise and step out from and be freer from. The whole point of Sick or Western is about identifying what makes us sick in this culture, in this society, and what can make us well. I've had lots of people say, you're doing Sick or Western, is that making you better? Absolutely, it's making me better. Is it helping you to be better? Because this isn't just about me, otherwise I wouldn't do it publicly, I would just do it privately. The whole point of exposing myself in this way is to say that we all could benefit from taking some time to actively consider what in our culture is making us sick. Because I believe that our culture and our society is full of sickness, that if we just identified it, noted it, and actively together decided to step away from those things, from that way of thinking, from those decisions, from those behaviours, from those opinions, from those reactions, if we together could recognise that and do something about it in small steps, then boy, we would be a healthier and just a nicer culture, a nicer society to grow in. We would be freer. That's the point of Sick or Western. So I'm waffling, but the very first point I want to make really clear is that I am much, much better than where I was when I crashed, because I am no longer ignoring the issues. I am looking at them. I am looking at my ugliness. And I am recognising my beauty. I am accepting that chronic pain does not limit me unless I allow it to limit me. I am accepting that I have a responsibility to not put my one issue of my back disc problem as the issue. I am accepting that we don't understand where pain comes from, but we have got a whole host of research and information that tells us how to live a healthier life. And by listening and doing and actively striving for that, my pain decreases and my ability to cope with it increases. It's absolutely key that is the place that we start from. Whether you suffer and have been diagnosed with a long-term incurable thing, or whether it's an instant trauma thing, it's the same. You can be free from that whilst living with it. My sister's sister-in-law has written a book called Run for Your Life. Her name is Jenny Baker. Go look it up. Get this book. The story is about Jenny was diagnosed with breast cancer and she ran to her chemo appointments. She's a runner. Her love, her passion is running. One of, I can imagine. She's an amazing woman who didn't take that diagnosis as a kind of, this is now me, and I have to now sign up to a particular way of dealing with my chemo appointments, my doctor's appointments, my cancer. She took this as another part of her story to offer more freedom in who she is and how she deals with life. She ran, even when she was sick and poorly through chemo. She ran from her home to her chemo appointments at the hospital. It's just an inspiration to me. That is the crux. Whether we live or die from these things is irrelevant. It's how we live and it's how we die. It's not what caused that. Freedom and health start here. And it's the outworking in our life, pouring out from our mind and our attitude and our heart. So once you understand where my main focus is on pain management, once that's clear, I can now tell you the other things that I do to support my pain management plan. It's expensive, there's a real sacrifice, and at the moment it's not sustainable for us, and I'm having to really think carefully about the things that cost. There's definitely an imbalance with those people who get prescribed things through the NHS and those that don't. I'm someone that won't ever get it prescribed because I don't look like I'm in chronic pain, I don't sound like I am, and I don't live like I am. That's probably something that needs to change. But there's a whole host of things I do each week, each day, each month that have a massive impact on my pain levels. So I'm just going to run you through very quickly some of the things that I do. I do yoga. When I can, I go to the gym. It's not very regular. If I do go to the gym, I focus on weight training because I think body strength is really important for managing pain. Yoga is about keeping me supple and strong and flexible, really important. And I would do that as much as I could if my lifestyle allowed me to. I'll go to the hydrotherapy pool for some relaxation and to do gentle swimming where I push against a flow of water. I use something called a thumper. My children are well trained now in learning how to use this machine. I got it off eBay. It's something that chiropractors and some massage therapists use. It's a very heavy duty hand massager. The size of my arm with big balls at the head, and they are amazing at getting really into the tissue, and so I'll use that 2 or 3 times a month. I've invested in a specialist mattress and pillow that has made a huge difference to my sleep, being able to turn in bed. As I've said before, my high patch is in the morning. It's my worst time of day. My mattress and the pillow has made a big difference in that. I try and stay around people that I can be truly authentic with. If I'm ever in an environment or a situation where I have to limit who I am or hide a little bit of the truth of who I am, I try and avoid that. Or I'm learning just to out everything that I am. I find that my pain level is a lot freer if I'm freer in myself. If my soul and my spirit is truly free and out, then I am truly free and out with my pain. It's really important to have regular downtime, something I didn't have in my life past. So I make sure that I have time for myself. I self-care. I make that a priority. That wasn't modelled to me as a child, and my mother didn't ever allow herself to self-care. It wasn't encouraged for her. It wasn't welcomed. I learned that. I carried that through. I've now learned that's a really, really important thing is to self-care first in order to care out. I have time with my children, having fun, playing games, reading books, whatever that may look like. And I would like to have more time with my partner, and we're working on that. Another thing is I've come off all medication. I was on a lot of pain relief. I don't believe in pain relief anymore. I came off it a year ago. I was on all sorts of different things for different parts of the day and night. I've come off all of it. My pain was no different coming off. I don't believe in pain medication. I don't believe in taking painkillers for the kinds of things I was. I don't agree with it. I don't believe they're real. I think it's all just part of a money-making scheme to keep us captive. It's another story. I try not to hang around people who don't have self-awareness of their own issues, and I find those people project stuff into the space that can give me, that can trigger anxiety, and anxiety increases my pain greatly. So I avoid people like that, even if I love them dearly and I know them well and they're very much in my life. I just try and limit how much I spend time with them. I try not to identify with the negative of a situation, but I try to focus on the positive. Sometimes that gets the better of me. This week I had 24 hours where I was very much in the negative of a situation that was getting me down. It's an ongoing thing that I'm trying to shift and change in my life. And it really increased my pain levels. So I stepped away from that. I take supplements to increase my bone strength and my to support my muscles and my joints, and I also take a supplement which helps my body take in more nutrients and minerals and vitamins. I juice. I juice all sorts of healthy, natural stuff to give me a real hit and a real push in that department. I will go for cranial sacral work every so often. When I feel that life has had a real build-up of just fast-paced living, I will go and sit for 2 hours with this chap and talk out stuff, and he pulls out things and he pushes me to get everything out, and then he'll do a treatment where he just balances my body, and it's I find that actually very grounding is the word. If ever I'm getting a twinge of a spasm or a crisis point in my pain, I will do two things. I will put on a pain patch, which I get from a friend of mine who lives in China. They're only available there at the strength that I get them in, and it's just loads and loads of herbs put into a pain patch. I put it on my back. It burns, but in the most wonderful way. It gets right deep into my back, into my tissues, into my muscles, into my joints, and I find that really is a wonderful pain relief. And I also, if it's getting quite bad and I want to nip it in the bud, I'll go and have acupuncture and cupping, just one session or 2 sessions, and she's cleared it for me, and that's a really good preventative treatment that I'll go for. I go now monthly, but I was going weekly for a while to the chiropractor. She pops my hips back in, my hips get displaced, and I often find her treatment, it's only 15 minutes in and out, but actually for the next few days I'm walking better, I'm sitting better, and I really do appreciate that treatment, but it's costly and I have to be careful of that. Saying no to things in my life has been an amazing important part of pain management. Not taking on things that really are not good for me, not taking on things that will create anxiety for me, not taking on things that are other people's issues, not mine, saying no to certain friendships, saying no to certain activities, saying no to certain diets and lifestyles. That's a really big part of pain management. It's having the confidence and the resilience to say no. No is actually a very positive word if it's used in the right context and in the right way. Less sugar. The less sugar I eat and consume, the better my pain levels. I've really been watching this, and this is really true. I indulged last week in sugar every day of half term, and I paid for it. You know, I was in a lot of pain for that. Everything seems to be weaker and less tolerant. So that's a really important thing, is to have a low sugar diet. Mindfulness. When I can, I'll do a mindfulness class, or I'll just do it myself at home. And it's just about rebalancing and refocusing my mind, and how my deep breathing, engaging with my breath, engaging with my thoughts, slowing them down, placing them. Every day I drink 2.5 litres of water as standard. I carry this bottle here, and I drink that each day, and that has a real impact on my whole health. Where I can, when I can afford it, I go away for a retreat. This is a really massive luxury. I appreciate. It's a massive love gift to myself, but ultimately to those around me as well that I live with, because I'm really focused for 2, 3, 4, up to 6 months afterwards, after a week away of juicing, yoga, swimming, walking, talking. I really am greatly benefited from that. I highly recommend it if you can save up and have, you know, even just a weekend or a midweek or a week or a 7-day trip to somewhere that allows you to just completely let go, and they take you through a really restorative, healing experience. I love them. If I could, I'd go twice a year. If you're interested, I'm running one this year in October. It's called Hibiscus Me. You can Google it, or you can ask me for details. But I'm really keen that I try and work out how I can get more of that in my life. So they're the things that I do each day, each week, each month, each year, to manage my pain, remembering that the very first start is about my reaction, my emotional, mental reaction to pain. Understanding that we don't know where pain comes from, and understanding that pain is not caused by one singular issue, but it's an entire environment of issues, and that I have the responsibility to tackle all of them in order to be free as I can be. I hope that helps. I hope that answers some of your questions. I hope that has given you the insight into where I'm at and what I'm journeying with. But as I said at the beginning of this vlog, Sick or Western is about me looking at all of the ways that make us sick and all of the ways that make us well in this culture, that has an impact on our pain in our mind, our pain in our body, our pain in our spirit. And together, if we can recognise these things, we can shrink them, and we can ultimately become a stronger force for freedom.